Imagine living in a country where owning a home, sending your kids to college, and even affording everyday necessities are increasingly out of reach. This is not a dystopian future. It's happening right now in America. As the national debt soars and the middle class shrinks, the dream of a comfortable life is slipping away for many. How did we get here? And what can we do to stop it? In this video, we'll uncover the harsh realities of the US national debt crisis, the hidden costs of money printing, and the global power shifts that are reshaping our world. Stick around to understand how these forces are impacting your wallet, your family, and maybe even your future. So, if you found this topic eye-opening, maybe you are even wondering or worrying about the current state of America. With everything that is going on, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos.
The idea of middle America not being able to make the money they need to make to be able to afford a house, send their kids to school, live in a nice place, enjoy some of their dreams, maybe not the biggest ones, but some of their dreams are going to become a reality. Middle America is getting smaller and smaller and smaller every single time we print money.
You have to have a mechanism by which you put this new money that you created out of thin air by fiat, literally just saying it now exists. You have to put it into the system. The way it's put into the system is by buying assets, because low and middle income people don't buy assets, they buy products like you were saying, then they aren't beneficiary of that. But what you're effectively doing is socializing losses. So you are spreading the loss out across everybody. My dollar buys less, and so it takes more dollars to buy the same thing. So once you understand that, I actually, as a wealthy person, do complain when people print money, because I'm like, hey, there is a point at which you break everything, because the money is just going to hyperinflate, and it isn't only going to be the stock market that goes up, it's going to be the cost of bread and gas and taking your family to a movie and all of that. When COVID happened, that actually kept us from going into something that probably should have been worse than the Great Depression. They money printed their way out of it, and we ended up being okay because it was spread across a lot of people. Now, because I am such a student of Ray Dalio, I know that governments, once they start money printing, they can't stop, and every time in human history that it's been used as a tool, it's used until it breaks. Typically, as it's racing towards breaking, I think it's 8 out of the last 14 times it's ended up in a hot war. As the big debt cycle comes to an end and money's inflating away to nothing, debt is completely out of control, nobody can make their payments, everybody's defaulting, you have to have a complete reset of the wealth, which is, I think, why everybody calls this the Great Reset or the Big Reset or whatever. Because we are forestalling catastrophe by printing, but we are only forestalling it. And nobody, I've had a lot of people on the show, nobody can tell me how you pull out of this death spiral other than austerity, and no one's gonna do austerity.
Yeah, so how can you fix this thing? And my question would be, is it how do you fix this thing in a year? No one's gonna know how to fix it because it's not gonna happen. How do you address this and make progress towards getting better over a 20-year span? Okay, now we're talking. 40-year span? Even better. The problem with America today is the following, which, by the way, is a beautiful thing, but it's also a problem. Whoever that gets elected, we have cyclical cycles. You got Carter gets elected, then it's Reagan Sr., then you have Clinton, then you have Bush, then you have Obama, then you have Trump, then you have Biden. So Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. So every 8 years, the system is like changing. So cycles are changing. Whatever you're doing is changing. So you can't really consistently build on a philosophy over a 20-year period, because in America, you can't put a 20-year plan in place, because whoever's the next guy that's going to come take your job is going to say, no, we're not building that wall. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're going to cut those benefits. No, we are going to spend more money. No, we are going to leave this war. These things, the complexity of what we're asking about is challenging, because no one leader is going to run for 20 years. We just don't have that.
Would you want it?
Is it good for America long term? Absolutely not. If that one person's a person that gets into office for 20 years, this thing's gone. It's destroyed. At least this allows us to not be able to go super extreme, because you have to get it through Congress and Senate, and it's already complicated enough to do that. But to fix this thing, you're never going to have both sides agree philosophically, economically on what they're going to be doing over a 20-year span. I have a job, and it's called Doug. Diffuse, unify, and be the glue. We don't have a lot of Dougs around the world today. We have division today. But if there's that one strong personality leader of the free world, a Churchill, a Reagan, a person you don't want to mess with, the world is typically a safe place. All right, let's go to the next slide. You have the war right now with China and India that is also taking place with iPhones are now being made in India. You can now get iPhones where on the back of it says made in India. First time, not made in China. Really? Guess who blocked TikTok in their country? India. Guess who's blocked 100 apps of China? India. India is not afraid of China. Now, why does China not like India? Why do they always behind closed doors talk? Yet at the same time, they're part of BRICS. You got Brazil, you got Russia, you got India, you got China, and I think it's South Africa that's part of the BRICS, right? Okay. So they're part of the same thing, but there's also a way of competing. The reason why I like India a lot, and I think India is going to play a very important role here, is because India has seen how China negotiated with US, and they've realized we're not doing that. But India has also seen the mistakes China made. So China overexpanded very quickly. China, they had their one-child policy. The average age of a Chinese right now is 38.4 years old. India is 27, 28. India's IIT Institute is producing incredible engineers. Many companies here will hire Indian engineers and they're rock stars, better than MIT in many cases. So I think India is very important for the next 20, 30, 40 years. As long as India is there, China's going to hate it. They're not going to like it. Then on the back end, the real war that's taking place is the semiconductor chips. And there's different levels to the semiconductor chips that's being built. And China's specialized in the cheapest kind to make, the easiest kind to make, where some countries have specialized on the tough kinds to make when it comes onto semiconductor chips. This is why China can't stand Taiwan being there. This is why China wants Taiwan, because Taiwan specializes in building the extremely technical semiconductor chips that the rest of the world uses. So Taiwan's going to play a very important role. We can't have a Russia-Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Gaza, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey. We can't have that taking place with Taiwan. Taiwan needs to stay separate. That needs to stay protected. How we do that, I don't know how we're going to do that. We're getting involved in one too many wars. But if Taiwan stays free and China relies on them, because China destroyed the world during COVID. We realize 80% of medications being built there, 80% of the technology that we need is being built there. They controlled everything. So again, the stuff that gets me optimistic is India, is Taiwan, is we're committed to the semiconductor business here. The things that concern me is China, is Erdogan wanting to be involved in the Israeli war, because most people don't realize the most powerful military in the Middle East is not Israel. Israel is powerful, but Israel has 300,000 soldiers, of which I think 150 is reserve. Turkey has nearly 400 active soldiers, the number one military in the Middle East. If Turkey gets involved, be careful with these companies like Raytheon and Boeing and General Dynamics and these guys that are making a lot of money when there's wars. We have to be very careful with that when that's taking place. Ray Dalio says a depression could be possibly around the corner. A lot of these guys are fearing what is taking place today. Michael Burry shorted the S&P 500, $1.6 billion of his clients' money. And now he did it in a way where, you're kind of protected, but still, he's not optimistic about the S&P. What will happen? The rich are still going to get rich. The innovators are still going to find a way to, win. The people who learn how to use AI on their side, they're going to advance and excel even more. The acceleration and the disparity between the rich and the poor is going to get wider and wider and wider. Why? Because most people are going to spend majority of their lives on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. They're not going to learn a new skill set. Harvard did an article saying to stay competitive right now, every 18 months you have 10 new skill sets to learn as an executive. It wasn't like that. It used to be 10 new skill sets every 5 years. Now we have to learn 10 new skill sets every 18 months. How the hell do we keep up? So only the paranoid survive. Like right now you have to be looking at it's out there. What part of it do I control? What part of it do I have no control over? Man, I got to figure out a way to increase my market value or else I'm going to get crushed. You're going to over the next 10, 20 years. If you're going to spend more time on Netflix, more time playing all these games, more time watching all these TikTok, Instagram, than building value for yourself and learning new skill sets, yes, the market's not going to favor you the next 18 to 36 months. But if you do that, fortunately for that community, they're going to be okay. This doesn't mean a recession is still not coming though.
What do you think the odds that we are already in Roman Empire-like decline, meaning already in it, in that it will happen in the next 10 to 15 years?
Here's the best thing about capitalism. Capitalism prevents you from doing stupid things because it's going to hurt your capital. Jamie Dimon's not going to want to screw up what he's doing. And his legacy is going to matter to him because there's no way in the world he's going to let Sandy Weil be able to say, I told you guys that guy failed, he was a nobody. And he's running the most company that every day $7 trillion they see come in and out. JP Morgan Chase, right? Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, these guys have assets. Are they going to let something crazy happen to it? I don't know. Musk, who is standing up against the establishment. He's not okay with what the establishment's trying to do. And with social media, a lot of this bullshit's being exposed and people are talking about it. So social media is allowing us to hold people accountable. I don't know if you saw what just happened right now this week with Supreme Court having a discussion to say social media companies cannot take anything off their websites. So censorship at the highest level. You don't have the right to take anything down. And they can protect sanity in America with some of the ways that businesses have been bullying people during COVID. COVID, what it did do, which was great during COVID, what's that quote? Absolute power, reveals what this person's driven by, right? And Lincoln said, if you want to test someone's character, give them power and see what they do. Guess what? During COVID, who did we give power to? Governors of some states had a little too much power. They were like emperors pretty much, We realized what the people of power really wanted to do. So to me, it was fantastic to really see them show their cards. This is what you're trying to do to America. We're not going to let that happen. What did that do? It got guys like Rogan to flip. I'm no longer on your side. You got guys like Elon Musk. Oh, so you were full of shit the entire time. I thought you were trying to do something good. Got it. I'm not part of your camp. I'm going to go buy Twitter. Elon Musk bought 100% of Twitter. Hey, we want you guys to go and work from home. Really? Yes. I'm living in New York. I'm working for XYZ company. They're paying me $250,000 a year. I can't live normal life in New York. I'll go live in Florida, work from home. Except now I'm not paying the taxes. Oh, no. We don't want you to work from home. Why now? No, we want you to come back to New York now. Got it. So you screwed up the policies, but now I'm in Florida. I'm not coming back to New York because I actually love Florida. And people from California went and worked from home in Texas, and now they're saving at 13%. Now they're not coming back. So they were like, oh, people are going to come back. They never came back. So this empire is falling. The great equalizer is social media. If social media sticks around and they can't silence people from sharing their thoughts and opinions. So I don't think it's going to happen because I think on one end, capitalists, the rich people are not going to want to lose all their money. So they're eventually going to be like, yeah, I don't support what you're doing, Soros. Charlie Munger said something very interesting. He says, look, I love Larry Fink, but I don't want him as my emperor because they know what Larry Fink's trying to do. People are not dummies, right? So those types of people, I think, are going to fight each other enough. And if we keep our eyes open, this will continue to be the greatest country in the world and hopefully even better if we rise up to it. If not, the best days are behind us if we don't learn our lesson from the last 3 years.